now recording. Hey, 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 what's up, man? It is the Ace Michael Show. I'm Ace Michaels, man. Happy to be here live and in living color with you today. I have an artist, a recording artist, producer, singer, songwriter, a multifaceted. He's a multifaceted, not a single facet. Multifaceted artist. Welcome to the show, Flojo.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, man.
It's all my pleasure. Now, you've got a guitar on your wall.
Yeah, I got two of them, actually. I wish I could show you the other one. I've worked so hard for this frame, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, with the guitar on your wall, it means one of two things. Either you play the shit out of a guitar or you get a lot of babes. One of them is true.
So in high school, I'd say a little before that, I had taught myself how to play guitar by ear and through the internet, YouTube University. And well, it was something I'd like to do, just sit by like a tree or something and just play for people in high school. And back then I used to get teased for it a lot because they're like, who the hell just does that? What are we in the 70s? You know, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna just do my own thing. I just kept singing and playing guitar. And I started with covers. I haven't really touched on this in a long time though. I've been playing more with keyboards recently.
Mm-hmm. And he held the keyboard up so that all of us knew what one looked like. That was funny. Okay, so yes.
I just wanted you to know that this is my
keyboard.
The tiny one. This is the one that lets me
going. I train elephants.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. How you gonna know if an elephant is not there, man? This is my elephant in the room.
So now playing guitar, is it hard?
Yeah, a little more and less. I think the keyboard was a lot easier. They're similar, except this one's got so many frets on it. There's different places where different notes play, and it just makes it a whole lot harder to lay out and just kind of like see on a sheet music for me than probably a keyboard, for example.
So what's your guitar go-to cheat? Like, what would you say made it easier? Because we all know it's hard. Even Prince said it's hard. So we know it's hard. What's your go-to thing you would tell a new guitar player? Make it easier on them. Like, yo, dude, try this out, bruh.
There's this app called Ultimate Guitar. I used to use it all the time when I was younger. So most people, when they try and teach somebody guitar, they use chords. And these chord sheets are terrible. Okay. But it's better to just use this thing called tabs, right? Now, when you look at a tab, it'll play you through the whole song and it'll show all 6 strings and what fret you need to put your finger on to play it. And that is a whole lot easier to lay out and look at, visualize, and start playing rather than looking at chords and thinking, what fucking chord is that? Mm-hmm. Like, it's a whole lot easier to just see all 6 strings in the place that it needs to be. And that's the chord. That's the solo you want to play. It's just a whole lot easier. So Ultimate Guitar, it's on the internet. It's on the App Store. If you want to learn guitar, that's the way. And learning chords is just as easy too. This app, it offers both. It offers both tabs and the chords for you to figure it out and play freely. It's very easy. Allows you to learn a lot.
But Flojo says use this Ultimate Guitar program app, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you have it. Okay. Good night. No, I'm playing. That was a great commercial.
So soon we haven't even got to the meat.
I know they didn't need it. You did such a good commercial. They need the meat now. They're like going.
This is just appetizers, man.
Exactly. Little teasers.
Yeah, I've been working a lot through.
So guitar playing was hard. You agree with that? You would attest
100%, man.
That
anybody would agree.
Okay, but you did it. How many years did it take you to get to the point where you became proficient on guitar?
Proficient, I would say probably about like 2 years in, just learning by myself. And you have a few friends here and there. You guys just teach each other stuff. These chords do this, or maybe a small song that just 4 chords. That's like the main rule for most songs anyway. Mm-hmm. So you could 4-chord a song on a guitar and play a song out.
You play a lot of songs with just 4 chords.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so was that your tool for writing? Were you like, okay, I know I can get by with 4 chords, start writing?
Yeah, actually, yes. And then like back then, when I'd say proficient, I would say that I was able to play the guitar out and make covers. but my proficiency with actually creating on guitar was not as good. And even today, it's not even, I would say, that well. Personally, the drums and the keyboards have been what's helped me create music a whole lot more easier, more proficient. It helps me just lay out ideas very quickly on the computer.
Now in 2020, we've got a lot of time to think about a lot of stuff because most of us are staying at home
Of
most
course.
of the time. Do you find that you need to get out in order to get inspired, or do you get inspired pretty much just sitting around? You can just come up with a song.
Shit, a little bit of both. Now, by myself, I find solace in movies. I really like to inspire for movies. Like I want to make like a Scarface type beat type song. I will. Like, and
Interesting.
every rapper quotes Scarface, man, but I'm the one singer who had 50 quotes. I was just jotting it all down. I was like, he said this, he said that. Don't take my money, this and that. The coolest, most badass Cubano ever, man. That's my inspiration. But even in these trying times, you need some friends around. And especially to create, it just helps skyrocket that creative energy, being able to bounce ideas back. And so I have a few friends that I've been able to contact and get in touch with during these times to create stuff. Uh, One of them I want to shout out right now, Sunday. Shout out Sunday. She's like the coolest singer. We even have like a few songs here. If you ever wanted to showcase just a few of them.
Mhm. Now, let me ask you this. Um, do you prefer this method? Like, you and I have never been in a room together before, but we're vibing all right. I think we bro pretty well.
Uh
Um,
huh.
are you used to this now? Are you used to communicating with people on the video as opposed to meeting in person, or do you still prefer to meet in person?
I think I still prefer that very personal touch that you get seeing somebody in person. See, there's a different energy to it. You're able to I feel like being in each other's presence definitely has some sort of spiritual energies that connect and help you create something.
Hmm.
Especially when it comes to creativity, you really notice it being in the room with somebody else, how easily things can be created. It'll take like an hour or two to dish out a song, and then it's on to the next. When you're on FaceTime, it's very hard to like bring or bounce ideas back because you have to actually email certain melodies. You have to FaceTime back and forth about lyrics. When you're in person, you can kind of get that entire process done in an hour or two. So it's been taking some time to get used to that, especially with people who are in another state or things like that.
Do you think this process will ever be reversed? For example, do you think in 5 years there'll be so many of us using social media to
Mhm.
communicate that communicating in person will seem strange?
Shit, I feel like now with all this COVID stuff, communicating in person does feel strange. It's so alien to us now because of all this precautions that we've had to take. And I personally don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. So
Mhm.
I think it's just something we have to get used to, at least for the long run. And just be cautious about each other and be safe for everybody's sake. You know, these are some very trying times, both in health, in finances, in our careers, everything.
Yeah.
So
Now, Flojo, I'm what you technically would call an old ass grown ass man, as opposed to you a young fella. But I can remember a time when Apple had put out the iPhone, and the iPhone, when it first came out, it had FaceTime capability. Nobody
uh
used, hardly anybody FaceTime
damn.
at first. They were like, "What FaceTime?" You know what I'm saying? And now mostly FaceTime. Would you agree?
Mostly FaceTime, really. And I think it's very prominent in Chicago. I don't think anybody here uses a phone. If somebody dials you off a phone over here, it's a scam, okay? Because
Oh my
they
God!
have to be your friend and they have to be FaceTiming. If your friend calls you off the phone number, it's not real. They're being held
Right?
hostage.
Wow!
The person on the other line needs a ransom. It has
Wow!
to be FaceTime. And that
Wow!
is the future.
There you go. The mayor of Chicago speaking right now. Flojo,
Oh no!
mayor of
All the time
Chicago.
goes
That's the
right
word.
there.
So, so that's crazy. So we have to adapt. We're humans. We have to adapt.
Uh-huh.
What's been the thing that you feel like you've adapted the most? Like of everything that's happened,
I
what
think
have you had to change the most?
I think studio, like having my own space,
Mhm,
not to move the camera around too much, but I do have like two speakers here. I have an
mhm.
interface, a microphone. These are things that I haven't really had in my music career. Mainly, I just sang over beats that were in mine.
Okay.
In this time of COVID, it has allowed me to take a step back and continue learning at a very fast rate. So now, as a producer, I've become more proficient enough to be able to hop on my own tracks. That's
Mm,
been like key for me, because a lot of us we start off having other producers, but that's not always reliable. I'd like to be able to add my own energy into the song, period,
mhm.
in the beat, in the melodies. And now that I can, it's made it a whole lot better. The next step right now is going to be to get better at recording myself. That way I don't have to depend on so many engineers to get the job done.
And that was the next question I was going to ask you anyway. Does an artist need an external producer? Like, do you need an outside influence person to give you pointers on how to make the best record or the best recording? Or do you think that artists generally could do it themselves? If every artist had their own studio?
Yeah, for the most part. So I'd say it's a little bit of both. Now, I think the best thing you could obviously do is learn how to do everything yourself. I Do you know who Tame Impala is?
I do not.
So they're a band from Australia, and it's a one man band. This guy, whenever he does lives, he calls on another band to help him do all the stuff that he's already done himself, recording, the instruments, the mixing, everything. He does everything down to the little tiny details.
Mhm.
And I aspire to be somebody like that because that takes patience and time and love for your craft to be able to grab every single concept of it. Sometimes you need an engineer to record. Sometimes you need a producer to have a song to write over. This guy has all of that,
Mm.
and I want to be that. But there's nothing wrong because whenever he has albums done, he calls on other producers for tips. There's nothing wrong with having resources, people to talk to and shoot ideas, bounce ideas around so that you guys can improve this work, in each other for, whatever you guys do respectively, or even just for that one song. It can help a lot. There could be a detail you may have missed or an idea you've never thought of that couldn't have happened unless you talk to that outside resource,
Mhm.
that engineer, that producer.
I've got time for maybe one more question. And to me, it's the most important question. How much of your personal life goes into your music? Now, I'm not talking about in general as an artist, should every artist take this advice? I mean, for Flojo, you're running down the street or you're riding your bike or driving your car and you see something happen or you see an object, and do you say, yeah, but that doesn't belong in my song? That's too political for who I am as an artist. Like, how much of what you're doing is really your personal, and how much is fantasy?
I think a good well, I'd say most of it is pretty personal. I try to make sure that my lyrics and even my music all connects towards who I am. I want things like depression or drug use, being with friends, or hardships with family to be very prominent in my music because this is who I am. There is hardships and there are lessons to be learned. And whenever I learn these lessons, that's when I like to make my music because I like there to be a problem being told, things that somebody can go through, somebody else might be going through, and then have a message at the end, letting you know that it's gonna be okay.
Hmm.
Like I do this most proficiently with depression, past relationships, and drug use. Three things that I tend to battle with at times. So I like to write about those and leave a good message to not only myself but to anybody who might be listening. That's like my key. Everything's got to be personal, and that's why I keep so many quotes of things I relate to, so that I have something to talk about.
And now I'm really going to run out of time, but I want to ask you. So now, are you currently using drugs? Like you used drugs like in the last year?
I dabble, maybe.
You dabble. Okay, well, no, it's fine. But and then you're going to put that in a song. Are you embarrassed if you put it in a song? It's a little shameful, isn't it?
No,
No, people don't shame.
I'll tell you why. Because I feel like a good number of people use drugs, pharmaceutical or not. You know, it's just the way humans are. And the thing is, you know, people use drugs, people dabble, and people get addicted. I think the stigma around shame and embarrassment over these things comes from a time that isn't mine. You know, I
Mm,
see it a lot in my family. I see it a lot in more grown folk than me, where they will say, "Oh, you know, this is bad. Don't do this." Especially with weed. Weed is legal now. You know,
hmm.
and then even in the harder drugs, there's people who need help. They don't need to be shamed, demonized, or felonized. These people need help, and that's what I hope we as a society can progress to one day.
It's very interesting because in the last 24 hours, I've had some very profound conversations about the use of drugs and addiction. Just literally 12 hours ago, I was in a deep conversation with a friend of mine about addiction. And, you know, people can get addicted to anything. People get addicted to sex. People get addicted to gambling.
Hell
People
yeah,
get addicted to food, you know, and eat
hundred
too much.
percent.
You just can't stop eating because eating makes you feel happy and the rest of the world makes you feel sad. Um,
Man.
any words you would give to someone who's a new musician starting out? Would you give them a caveat like, "Hey, man, stay away from drugs. Just experiment. Be careful." You know, like what would you say to somebody? I mean, because you clearly have some experience that they don't have. What would you share with them?
So I don't know everybody's story when it comes to drugs, but I think the best advice I can give to somebody is just protect your energy and protect yourself, 100% always. Now, when it like, there's going to be drugs and there's going to be things even worse than drugs you may not even realize, like, you know, bad energy from other people, right? Everything plays a part in your energy, and your energy has to be high, drugs or not. And the only way to protect that is to meditate, be in tune with yourself, reflect, and, you know, progress towards a brighter future towards yourself. You know, there's a lot of ways to fall down, not just drugs. So keep your heart and your head held high, keep your energy, your spirits high, and you will achieve whatever you want to achieve. This I promise.
Okay, that's awesome. Now, this is definitely my last question because I'm surely out of time now. But I gotta
You
ask.
love talking to me. Just admit it already.
Yeah, we definitely got a good bro thing going. But here's my question. So a person says, Flojo, I appreciate what you're doing. I hear you loud and clear, but man, I'm in this abusive relationship and it's real. Like I can't just go higher ground. Like I got shit hitting me all the time. My dad, he thinks I'm a loser and I live in his house. And every time I come home from work, he's on me about why haven't I this? Why haven't I that? I'd love to go play guitar for 4 hours under a tree, but that's not real for me, bro. I'm in a different situation. So, how do you apply that take the higher road mentality? How do you apply that? Because I think that's what people need to know.
Mhm. Yeah, now that's a real tough situation, and in ways I can relate. See, I feel like I can't really speak too much on somebody else's life. I can only give them my experiences and let them, you know, reflect and relate to these things. So in times of hardship, especially ones as rough like that, it's I always found music to be my therapy in general. There's got to be ways, you know. For me, it was guitar. I was blessed enough to have a guitar when I felt alone or scared about something. And the best advice I can give is to just take your chances and opportunities because they are there. You know, like if you really want something, you have to grab it. Never mind the obstacles, never mind the hindrances. If you know, if you're not getting along with your family, then your family should have no sway or hold on what makes you happy. If you're not getting along with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, they should have no sway on what makes you happy. This is what I mean by protect yourself. You know, even toxic people that you may have in your life, if there's a way to cut them, or if there's a way to avoid them, you have to do all that you can in order to protect that energy, because you yourself is what matters at this moment. You cannot love anybody unless you love yourself.
Hey, I can't close the show on a stronger note than that. Brilliant words from a brilliant man. Flojo, how do we find you on the internet? We want to pleasantly stalk you now on the social media. What do we need to do next?
Before I do that, would you like to hear a little music?
Yeah, well, send us the clip because we can play the clip on the show.
Okay, cool. All right,
Yeah,
that
I
works for
mean,
me.
so we can play it before and after and even during. So send it that way we can do it production style.
Sounds good. All right, cool. So if you guys want to find me and my oh so lovely face, you find me at Flojo Benz at practically anywhere. If you wanted to find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, just look up FLOJOBENZ, Flojo Benz, and you will find me everywhere. And I promise to play more music for you guys. I haven't been posting enough. I had a music video posted about a month or two ago, and I've been working on an EP. So please stay tuned and high energies. I love everybody.
And that is what's up. It's Ace Michael Show. You know what I say at the end of the show, man? Live the life you love.
That's
Love
right.
the life you live. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. You have a wonderful day. Peace and love.
So